Hi und willkommen bei Sarah's Music. Musik kann vieles bewegen. Ich bin heute in Downtown Los Angeles in Skid Row, wo es ein wunderbares Musikprojekt gibt. Dieses Projekt heißt The LA Street Symphony und ich freue mich sehr, heute mitzumachen. Skid Row ist ein Stadtteil in Downtown Los Angeles, das mittlerweile leider für Obdachlosigkeit und Armut steht. Aber es gibt hier auch Schönheit und Hoffnung. Street Symphony bereichert mit Musik das Leben der Menschen hier. Im Skid Row History Museum am South Broadway treffe ich Tom Grody. Tom, thank you for letting us come to your space today. Can you tell us about it?
Well, we're happy to have you here. This is called the Skid Row History Museum. It's part of a nonprofit called the Los Angeles Poverty Department. We're the oldest arts organization in Skid Row, and actually the first arts organization in the country to focus on people on the street, people who are homeless, just based on the idea that if people are going to move forward in their life, they need to tap into their own creativity, their own artistry, and so we're trying to help facilitate that.
From what I hear, there are a lot of really great artists living on Skid Row, which is tragic that
Yes.
they're there, but amazing that they're changing their lives and moving forward with music.
Well, one of the interesting things is Skid Row can have such a profound impact on someone, even if they deal with whatever issues of sobriety or family issues. As they move forward, they feel so deeply connected to Skid Row that even as artists, they come back to stay connected to the community.
What sort of music do you find people enjoy the most? The community, this community that come to these events. Is there a particular type of music that works well?
I think what works the most is that Skid Row is primarily African American, so there's certain types of music that touch people in a really deep way, but it's also a multiracial, very international community. So whenever you can cross-pollinate African American music with other forms of music, creatively, that just sets off a lot of sparks.
Jeder Mensch hat ein Recht drauf, kreativ zu sein und sich zu verwirklichen, sagt Vijay Gupta, der Gründer und künstlerische Leiter von Street Symphony.
Nice to meet you. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome to Skid Row.
Vijay, you play first violin in the Los Angeles Philharmonic and you're artistic director of this wonderful organization, the LA Street Symphony. How did the two come together?
Skid Row is the epicenter of the crisis of homelessness in America today. And tonight, over 5,000 people will simply sleep on the sidewalk in tents or in sleeping bags, and another 15,000 to 20,000 people are at risk of being chronically homeless in Los Angeles. So I met a musician in this community whose name is Nathaniel Ayers. He was the subject of a very famous book and a movie called The Soloist. And I became Nathaniel's violin teacher. And I started teaching him up here at Walt Disney Concert Hall after lessons and between, after rehearsals and before concerts. And then slowly I started to follow Nathaniel down closer to Skid Row where he was living at the time. Nathaniel was one of the first black men to ever study at the Juilliard School in Manhattan. He was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and he ended up living 20 years here in Los Angeles in the 2nd Street Tunnel, playing on a violin. Somehow, when I met him, he knew every Beethoven opus number, he knew every Brahms opus number, he knew the Schubert catalog numbers. He was a musician who deserved to be on any concert hall stage in the world. But because he had a mental illness, because he was poor, and undoubtedly because he was black, he was also homeless. And so Street Symphony started because we wanted to meet one more person, just one more person like Nathaniel. And in the course of over 500 events presented in the last 8 years, we've met thousands of Nathaniels.
I admire what you do so much, but it can't be an easy path because you have to fund these things. How does it work?
Well, we're surrounded by an amazing community. So Street Symphony presents 4 to 5 concerts every single month, but we do everything we do in partnership with agencies here in the Skid Row community who provide housing, who provide counseling, 12-step recovery, also who provide musical and artistic services like the amazing Urban Voices Project, choir.
I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up. Can we do it again? Sing it a little bit louder. Here we go. I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up.
So in this community, there is an understanding that the arts are not entertainment. They're a lifeline.
It's like Sir Simon Rattle said, music should be a necessity, not a luxury. And that's really showing itself down here. It seems to be how you're giving
100%.
people that don't have a voice, you're giving them a voice.
Well,
literally.
I feel like a voice exists. And actually what we're doing is we're listening. So we've also created an amazing community of composers and artists and musicians who are asking, what is the role of music in a world where we experience so much pain? And that music gives us a place to belong and to feel and to remember our common humanity.
I'm honored to be part of it today.
Yeah, we're so
I
excited
heard
to
there have
have
never
you.
been horns down here, so to be with the LA Philharmonic horn section
Yes.
down here in this special place, let's see what's going to happen.
It's very, very special.
Ich war so glücklich, dass meine Freunde von der LA Philharmonic Horngruppe mich zum Skid Row Museum begleitet haben. Wir haben uns den ganzen Nachmittag mit unseren neuen Freunden von Street Symphony und Urban Voices musikalisch ausgetauscht.
If I had the wings of a dove, wings that would take me, wings that would take me where I want to go, where I want to go. I'd fly to the way out into space, way out into space. No, 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 no. There is no hiding place. Trust the voices. If I had
That's all from Sarah's Music for today. What a fantastic event that was. And to say goodbye, the Street Symphony and the Urban Voices are going to sing you out the best way we know how, right, guys? Yeah. Okay, Nib, take it away.
1, 2, 3.
I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light, I walk in the darkest towers of night, and I call my sisters to my left and my right to walk with me, to walk with me. I walk in the Spirit, I walk in the light, I walk in the darkest hours of night.